Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to Shred Sessions. We have some amazing guests today. We've got Mr. James Cole, metal vocalist, rock and roll vocalist, and his drummer friend Josh Ray joining us on this episode. How are you guys doing?
Good,
man.
Thanks for coming on. This is exciting,
dude. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course. This is a morning episode, so if we seem a little groggy, it's because we are.
Yeah.
So. And I think you guys drove, Josh and Ashley's right over here, off camera, but you guys drove from Alabama?
Yeah, we went and saw 21 Pilots.
Oh, dang.
Dude,
cool.
They put on a sick show.
I bet.
I'm not going to lie.
I bet.
They were awesome. But yeah, we got home around like 3 a.m.
Oh my God. Dude.
And then immediately went to sleep.
Well, thank you for doing that. And you drove from Cottontown, Tennessee. What were you doing in Cottontown? Is that where you stay these days, or?
I live in East Nashville, but my girlfriend just got a new farm out there, and she's a flight attendant, so she's currently at work, and she's got like horses and stuff like that. So I'm staying over there and just like taking care of the animals while she's gone.
Wow, she's a very lovely person.
She's awesome.
I'm glad I got to meet her at Taylor's birthday party several weeks ago. But yeah, hang on to that one, man, if you can.
Oh, I am.
So I know you guys from the band Aphonia, okay? And I don't know if you're comfortable talking about that band. I mean, I want to mainly focus on your new music, James, but talk about how that band formed, and if you're open to it, talk about like what happened, like because I feel like you guys were doing pretty cool stuff. You played with Rot Nest last November. You guys kicked ass. Like,
thank you.
You guys had a great show, a great visual presentation of the band, and your music videos are sick. And we'll talk more about those later. But like, fill us in on what happened with Aphonia.
Well, it's a little sensitive. It's a little sensitive because I think because we had this foundation of we were all best friends. We were all like siblings.
So we thought.
We were going pretty strong there. We had 2 rehearsal weekends every month where we would stay, 2-3 days together in the same house, cooking dinner together, practicing, playing board games, playing video games, watching movies, going out and doing stuff like,
and then trying to like come up with like either writing a new song, thinking of different ideas, going through like Wyatt's like huge database of riffage, and then try and do like social media stuff, like figure out like, hey, what can we do to create a post on Aphonia. And yeah, it seemed really good at the time, and I'm super excited.
Those Aphonia videos have like 30K views on one of them, and then the other one has less, but like,
yeah,
you guys were...
That one was not the best video that we've ever put out. But basically, man, like, we thought we had just this like really strong unit built on friendship and trust, and it turns out that somebody in our midst was just like a fucking snake, and that's like the lightest way that I think I could, the most polite way that I could put it.
All we were wanting, honestly, like, I don't care if he decided to go back to
somebody that we fired,
to a member who, from what I was told, is a very toxic individual. And for him to go back there, like, just a little transparency is all I ask. Like, just a little honesty. Just be like, hey, I'm not really feeling it, I kind of want to go back to this, but instead, he sends like a very long, he broke up with this through text message. No, I was kidding. He sends a really long like text message that was like really heartfelt, like it wasn't like anything rude. It was just like, hey, I'm not really feeling it anymore, which he kind of gave signs at certain points. Like when we would write stuff, we would be like into it, like, yo, I want those ghost notes in there. Like I want some like modulation change or something. And James is like, no, let's run the vocals again. I don't like my take. And like it would just like be a constant like just trying to get the best take.
Yeah.
And yeah, at the time it felt like there was a slight disconnect from Wyatt. At a certain
He's the guitar
point.
player, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which like, I'm sorry that all this happened, but that guy is a killer guitar player, man.
Yeah,
No,
he wrote
I will-
amazing like
Stuff is sick, man.
yeah.
I will not take that away from him ever. He is a very, very talented individual, but he told us that basically, like, his reasoning for leaving the band was that he no longer wanted to pursue music seriously, and that he wanted to like focus on his girlfriend and his job and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then like a week and a half later, we see him with the guy that we fired because he was such a shit fucking person. Redoing a band that we literally dead named. Like, we were Apparitions when we played with Rot Nest, and then at the end of the show we officially were like, hey, we're now Aphonia, this is a new thing, like Apparitions is dead. And then out of nowhere we see a video. I'm on vacation having a good fucking time, and it ruined my day because just like the dude lied to us. And not only did he lie to us, he'd been lying to us for months, because him and this guy got back together and were working together under wraps, and even went as far as a song that was supposed to be on our next EP that was already been decided.
Yeah.
They went and released that together instead. Like, it was just this huge betrayal. Like, I loved that dude so much. We loved that dude so much.
Yeah.
And like, we had so many experiences together that I thought like made it to where nothing could ever happen to us.
Yeah.
And for that to happen was just like the biggest punch to the fucking dick that I've ever had being in a band before. Because I felt like we had something going.
We did.
We were going hard in the paint. We had so many shows lined up, and I was talking to different bands about going on tours with them and stuff like that. Like, us finally hitting the road, and it felt like we were unstoppable, and, you know, putting out all this like content that we worked really fucking hard on. And then not only that, but like we still had at least one more show that was fully booked, that was on the paper and everything.
Yeah.
And we asked him, it was like, okay, well, you know, if this is what you want to do, if you're not wanting to do this anymore, that's fine, but can we at least use the equipment that we need to use to be able to play this fucking show? And he was like, oh, I'm not comfortable letting somebody use my stuff if I'm not there. And it's like, okay, cool.
That is like understandable in a sense. Like, I can feel him on that, because he alone spent like probably like 10,000. I don't know how much in-ear rigs are, but
yeah, they're expensive.
But I feel him on that. I wouldn't want like a random person that maybe I've met a few times, or whatever, like borrowing $10,000 worth of equipment and then leaving the state. Like,
yeah,
like if he came and dropped it off and then just left and been like, well, I hope it's in good hands.
Yeah.
You know,
I would have been in good hands though. And, but the thing is that we had, like, for him to just fucking bail.
Yeah.
And then leave us high and dry, like no way to play shows, no way to continue on. We were struggling for like a month and a half trying to find people to like fill in for the show, trying to find equipment to rent, like all that shit. And then we ended up just having to like throw our hands up in the air and be like, fuck it. And now, I mean, we're both doing music together still, but Aphonia is just fucking stuck.
Yeah.
And it will stay stuck until we can justify spending that much money just to be able to play again.
Yeah.
And we need like brand new members, like, and we're both on the level of like, we don't want to do this by ourselves. Like, we want to have a band. We want people to be involved and everyone put in the same stakes and everyone put in the same money and everyone put in the same amount of hard fucking effort. But at the same time, we've also talked about just hiring Norman Reagan to help us write some new stuff if we so choose. Like if we just get tired of not being able to do anything, we'll do that. But right now we're stuck.
Yeah,
we can't do a goddamn thing.
Being in a band is really tough, and it is like a relationship with like 4 people, you know, or 5 people, however many people are in the band.
Yeah.
It sucks to hear when it breaks up that way, and it sounds like he like internalized a lot of like the stuff he was going through, and then just kind of dumped it on you guys at like the worst possible time, like when you're on vacation. And I think a lot of the time when people have this thing inside of them eating away and they have to get it out, it's oftentimes let out at the expense of the other person. Like you're being very selfish, you know, by I got to get this off my chest, and you're not even considering the other person and what might be going on in their life, even if they are someone that you've been in a band with for so many years. And that's something that's been like a theme like that I've like come across in the last couple of years, just with relationships, not necessarily music, but people wanting to spill the beans or like get something off their chest for their own good, but they never consider the other the other person. Like, dude, I just got off work, I'm like exhausted, and now you're telling me this? Like dude, instead of like setting aside a time to like get together and talk about what it is that you're going through. And man, I'm gonna be honest, I've been in bands before where I've been the guy that broke up the band, and it was because I kept a lot of stuff inside. In the instance that I'm thinking of, I at least took the time to get everyone together in the same room and talk it out, but it did not go well. Let's just put it that way. But we live and we learn, and you try to be better people. But I think it's great that you guys are sticking together and wanting to continue to do music, and we're going to talk a lot about that today. But one other thing I wanted to say, a lot of bands rely heavily on like the playback thing, and I know in like deathcore and in the style of metal that like you and I play, like that's a big part of like putting on a show, is having this rig that plays like from a DAW or like some type of like LP16 cymatic audio like box or whatever. That's what we use in Proselyte. But I would encourage anybody that is putting that between them playing a show with their band to like totally take the $10,000 thing and get it out of the way. And get the guys together and play some music. Now, when it comes to Click Track, I actually happen to have something right here that this company sent me. This is not, I'm not trying to like do a spoofy advertise
promote him
thing,
now.
But they sent me this thing, and this is like an in-ear transmitter, okay? So your drummer could potentially just be the one hooked up to this thing running a click. And I've met a lot of bands on shred sessions that they're like national touring acts, and they just use like their drummer just plays like to a click, and then they send an output from like a little mini soundboard for their backing tracks to the, basically it's like the left side is the click and the right side is like the backing tracks.
We've talked about something like that.
And this is like $150, maybe $200. So you can get something like this. Like my point is there's like different ways of
that's cool,
getting around like that. Like, oh, we need all this fucking equipment, and like, and then like what ends up happening is like what you said, like someone bought $15,000 worth of equipment or 10 grand, and they're paying Sweetwater payments forever, you know, trying to pay the shit off, and like they haven't played very many shows. And like I would encourage people to not do that, you know. But yeah, I don't know what do you guys think about that?
I mean, we've talked about like the idea of like, you know, like doing like a poor man's audio track, or, you know, sorry, we've talked about it before, and it's not only getting that figured out, but it's also like getting the right people involved that are going to be on the same mindset. Yeah. Like, I mean, the only guy that I can even think of that can play like Wyatt in this town is Chandler from East of Eden.
East of Eden.
Or
different band.
Wait. No.
Sorry, different.
Chandler Armstrong?
Yes. Of Ruin?
No, he's in East of Eden. Yeah, you said it right.
Fuck!
I was right. Y'all suck.
No, those guys are. Yeah, that dude's super talented.
Yeah, no, they're fucking awesome. And I mean, like, we talked to him about he was going to fill in on guitar for
He was
that
learning
show.
the songs.
He was
too.
learning our songs, but you know, shit just fell through. But like at the same time, Josh has Deathless, and I now have this solo stuff. And I think us focusing on these other projects right now is the best move for us, because to get Aphonia back to what we would want it to be is going to take a lot of work. And I think after all the bullshit that we went through with the band before, it's kind of nice to like focus on some other things and get these other creative outlets out while we can.
Yeah, dude, there's like timing is a big thing, man. Like it'll probably come back around at some point, you know, if you want it to. And I would say just keep going to shows, as many shows as you can, you know, and keep introducing yourself to people in the scene, and you'll probably find somebody that's into gent deathcore cinematic, like the thing that you were doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just there's a lot of people that want to be in a band and play music, and heavy music, it's never been more popular than it is now. So we need more bands, we need more venues, and dude.
Definitely more venues.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm so picky about certain things because I've been in a handful of bands now. I've also been in the music scene since I was like 7 years old, like not as a musician, but like being around,
been around music,
been around the music, been around like live shows, been around musicians my entire life. And there's just a certain je ne sais quoi of people, persons, presentation that make it and that don't. And I'm super big on like, don't you dare wear fucking basketball shorts on stage, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, and there's just like, there's so many people I feel like that are like legitimately talented, but then like they lack like the other thing, which is like the look or like the presentation of how they perform on stage. And so for me, for us to bring a guitarist into what we were doing before, because we were very like adamant on putting on a show, putting on like a performance, like sequencing with each other with the headbanging and everything else. So like,
and the lights,
and the lights.
We had such cool lights.
Yeah, we had a cool light system. So all of that would have to come back. Like we would have to find another god tier type of person in order to be able to continue doing what we were doing before.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. Like you should do as much as you can, like with like how you dress and like how you present the band and like the lights. I've been down that rabbit hole before, and like from my experience, it prevented me from like getting on stage, you know what I mean? Like emphasizing like the importance of like equipment and lights and stuff. Meanwhile, like more recently on the show, we've had a lot of hardcore bands that they're playing to like 100 to 200 people when they do local shows. It's crazy. And they are wearing basketball shorts, you know? Yeah. And I think people want to connect with you, man. They want to connect with your music. And I think that, like, just to give you a little pushback on that, I think that should go first. But I also understand, like, every artist has a vision for how they want to present what it is that they do. Another example would be that band Rot Nest that, like, they were incredible that night. You know, and they had a fucking like wrestler guy come out and do a guest spot, and they were all like done up, and they had like scarecrow masks on. It was unbelievable what they did. But I haven't seen them play a show since that time, and I don't know if they have. And same thing with my band Zaphon. Like we've only played one show because we don't have a drummer. But yeah, Josh, if you want to join another band,
that'll be the fourth or fifth one now.
If you want to play even more blast beats,
oh man.
But no, I'm kidding, man. Don't mean to put you on the spot, but like, do you kind of get what I'm saying? Like I feel like people they have like an A or B option in their mind, and it has to be one or the other. And there's oftentimes like a C option if you can look for it, you know. And like, dude, like your music's sick, man. It's fun to listen to, and yeah, like that's all I would say on that topic, man. And if you disagree, that's fine. That's just like,
no, I think it depends on, like, you know, who you are as a person and who you are as a musician. But me, I guess I grew up like worshiping bands that not only sounded good but looked good, like that, like influenced like what I wanted to wear as a teenager,
right?
Like that kind of thing.
Totally.
Like middle school, I was huge into Black Veil Brides. Huge. I was and still to this day, man, that fucking Set the World on Fire record, I still think it's badass. But like them and Motionless in White and Rammstein and fucking Motley Crue and Alice Cooper and just bands like that, like Marilyn Manson even. I'm so big into presentation and like what you look like and what you can do outside of just being a musician. Like, what can you bring to the table? Like, are you pretty? Are you handsome? Do you look dog shit ugly but great in skinny jeans? Like what's going on? Like, what can we do to like
look like a fucking muffin, dude?
I think dude, I agree. I love Korn and Limp Bizkit, and like all of those bands have like an aesthetic, and I think that was more of a thing in the 90s where like you had nu metal, excuse me, and you had all of these different bands that sounded vastly different from one to the next, but they each had their own vibe. And now we have like heavy bands, and they all kind of like, they all look similar and sound similar. So you can find different ways to differentiate yourself artistically, but I would still say that like Black Veil Brides, like if we were to go back and watch their first show, or even watch the first Korn performance, man, they're wearing like painters like outfits, you know. they just played with whatever they have. Or Sleep Token, they're wearing fucking black pajamas on stage with like a cardboard mask on, you know, like. Yeah. But now look at them. Now that they've got some steam and some money behind what it is that they're doing, then they can just like, now he looks like a fucking, I don't know, gargoyle from hell or something on stage. like they look incredible, you know. So those are just some thoughts on that. Like, it's just really hard to be a local band or start as a local band
and have that type of production.
And the closest band that I've seen was honestly you guys, Rottennest, and then Dissonation too. Like the stuff that they do, but they have a computer/music genius in their band. Not every band is going to have that. True. So I think you got to play off of your strengths, you know, like, so, but what you guys did was awesome. And it's just, you know, it's unfortunate that it's in the state that it is, man, but
it'll come back.
Yeah.
Sick.
Gives me time to go down a death metal journey too.
Yeah.
Everyone needs their death metal journey.
Dude.
How's that been?
Dude, awesome. I love those dudes. We're currently, as you know, trying to write a new album. We're trying to at least get something done in 2026. But some of the stuff that we're writing is, dude, it's like challenging me, and it's freaking awesome. Just able to just write. I kind of have like artistic freedom in a sense with them. So I can just send them, like I'll sit in the DAW and I'll write drums to it and be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking, and send it to them, and they're like, hey, that's cool, and they just give you feedback, and it's freaking sweet. But yeah, it's awesome.
That's cool, man. Yeah, are you like programming drums and stuff, like with a like Get Good or something like that? Or?
Yeah, I'm using as of right now, I'm using Luke Collins VST. It just sounds good, and I have a bullet stack and it has a bullet stack, so I was like, I try to get it as close to my kit as possible.
What is a bullet stack for people that don't know?
It's Luke Collins stack symbol. It's just two.
A stacker.
Yeah.
For grooving.
Yeah, I like it because it's like just really sharp sounding. It's like but what I want is Benny Greb's stack. That's the awesome.
Those are
stack.
Expensive cymbals, man. Like the freaking Matt Garska, like $900 like stacker cymbal.
Yeah. I love his hats, and his ride sounds, or not Ride, but China sounds so good.
Sick.
Sweet.
That's awesome. So James, let's talk about you have a new song coming out.
Yep.
It's Farm Girl.
Pretty Farm Girl.
Pretty Farm Girl.
Yeah.
So talk about the new music that you're writing and like what it sounds like. You know, I mean, Aphonia was like atmospheric deathcore kind of stuff. And what's the music like that you're writing now?
Well, so before I even got into like deathcore and stuff like that, I've just been into like metal and rock and roll since I was born. My dad told me I was conceived to typo negative. So, and that turns out to be one of my most favorite bands. So
it's a very sexual band.
Yes.
I guess you could say. Right.
Rock and roll is just like a part of who I am, and like for a long time, like even my attitude was sex, drugs, rock and roll, you know. The new stuff that I've been working on is just very much rock and roll. Like I wanted to get back in touch with what rock and roll is and what it means and what it sounds like. And I feel like there's also like a lot of other artists like Youngblood who are just like bringing rock and roll like really back to the mainstream, but like without sacrificing what it should sound like.
Yeah.
And that's exactly basically just what I'm trying to do. Each song is different than the last one. They're all different genres with the with the main genre being rock and roll, but like different subgenres splitting each one apart from the other one. Like I have a country rock one, I have a punk rock one, I have like a new metal-ish sounding one,
like a mid
shoegaze.
A mid like 2010 type metalcore vibe too.
Sick.
It's very healing, I feel like, for me to finally be able to work on stuff like this, because for so long, like I relied on, even with my earlier solo stuff, I had to rely on other people helping me write this stuff. And though there are a few songs that like I've collabed with on other people, it's all me, and I've finally gotten to a point to where I can write my own riffs and I can write my own melodies, and I'm at a point now to where like I'll literally just be sitting there writing something, and I write everything on an acoustic guitar first, and then I transfer it over to, you know, like the big sound of like, you know, like electric and all that stuff. But I'm at a point now to where I start writing something and then I finish it, whether it be within an hour or within the next day. And then within the next 24 hours to a week, depending on when I can go in, I immediately put it into a demo. I immediately just like try to get these things out of my head and onto a file, that way that I can go back and listen to it and see what I want to change and whatever. But like, I'm just like I feel like I'm on a artistic writer's journey on rock and roll. Like, and
yeah, dude.
I just want to do what I love, and I want to do what makes me happy. And deathcore is fucking awesome. Really, really heavy music is fucking awesome. But there's, you know, something that speaks to me more than just being as heavy as possible.
Yeah. Dude, I like that you said you write on an acoustic, because I think that kind of takes all of like the peripheral stuff down and focuses on the fact that like, do we really have a good song here? You know,
True.
like, do we have good lyrics? Do we have good like song structure? Right. And then going in and adding like the electric guitar or whatever it might be, filling out the sound. I haven't done that in a long time. And maybe that's why my songs suck. I don't know. But
no.
But
No.
that's cool, man. Like I admire that. That's awesome. So how many songs do you have written so far?
7.
Nice. And are you thinking like EP or full length, or like
EP.
one at a time kind of release? Or
They'll be released. So I mean, the new one's coming out on the 27th, and then I'm just gonna let that one ride and just try to promote the fuck out of it for months. And then next year, I plan on putting the EP out by the end of next year, but most of the songs are gonna come out as singles first.
Yeah.
To where like, you know, like I put out a song and then just promote the fuck out of it for 2 or 3 months, and then boom, bam, boom, here's another one, and just do that throughout the next year and just see what kind of momentum I can bring and how that works out. Because I feel like putting out a full length for like newer bands, for me, and this is, you know, other people have different opinions, but for me, putting out a full length as a new band, I think about it on a business standpoint and a financial standpoint, and I just can't justify it. I feel like singles gain more momentum and do much better than throwing out a whole album and being like, well, I hope everybody listens to every song.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try the single thing out and see how that goes.
No, dude, I think that's a great move. I mean, for more vocally driven music, I think it's probably the way to go. For like, you know, super niche genre stuff like death metal or grindcore or whatever, I think it's probably okay to do like an EP or an album. But I like that because you put out a song and then you have some time to kind of like, you know, go back to work, live a little bit of life, you know, experience things, and then write another song, and you'll have a little bit of money in your pocket to
do promotional.
Yeah, to write, record, you know, go to Seeger Rawls and get it recorded and mixed well, right?
I'm actually this at least for this EP, I'm using Robbie Bingham.
Okay, cool.
He was in Abyss Walker, Murder Side. He mixes a lot of like local bands around here. But Robbie was the first producer that I ever worked with. And it's a lot more homely ish, because like you show up and like it's at his house. And he has like his vocal booth is in his laundry room and stuff like that. But it's also super cool because like I just show up and we like hang out, we smoke weed, we drink beers, we do dabs.
Hell yeah.
And then we record. And it's just like it's a really cool just like hangout session, where going to Seeger's, it's just straight up like professional the entire time.
Yeah.
Like you show up and like you have your time limit of what you can and can't do. And
Sure.
You show up and like you're like on the clock. Whereas when I go to Robbie's, it's like, all right, I'm gonna smoke like 10 cigarettes before we start.
Get your voice nice and
yeah,
rough.
man. There's different types of engineers and recording situations, and like, yeah, dude, like Seeger's thing works for a lot of bands and a lot of people, and then sounds like Robbie's got some cool stuff going on too, man. So like, yeah, I knew that you've hung out with Seeger before and done some projects with him.
Oh, yeah.
So
I mean, he mixed
threw his name out there.
He mixed the Aphonia EP.
Yeah,
and it sounded fucking awesome. And I plan on possibly doing a thing where I do this EP with Robbie, and then I'll do another the next EP with Seeger. Like, you know, like go like a back and forth thing, because I love both of their works for their own individual reasons.
Yeah.
And I like working with both of them for their own individual reasons. So I don't see why I need to like pick between the two.
No, dude, that's great. It's good to mix it up.
I actually want to do a thing at one point where like I get them to like work on the same song or EP together.
Oh.
Like one person do like a mix, the other person do the master.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, like one person does vocals, the other person does instrumental, like just something, because I feel like they're both really good at what they do, and they have things that are better than the other. And I feel like if they were to like sit down together and just like hammer something out together, it would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, it would be sick. So when you go to record this stuff, do you have like guitar tracks recorded already, or like drums and tempos like mapped out, or does Robbie like set all of that up for you, and does he play on it too? Like,
yeah, so usually what I do is I'll write the music, but then I have him record it, just because he's a much better guitarist
yeah
and drummer than I am. So like I'll write the stuff, but then like most of the time I'll have him actually track it just so it's like super crisp and super clean. Because I mean, as much as I can write, I'm still not the best like live player. I feel like I have very high standards like with like my vocals, and like I've, you know, like been able to really work on that and hone that in. I have not been able to do that with instrumentals yet. I'm good enough to where like I can write, but I have Robbie do all the tracking for me. I'll go in there and I'll show him the riff, and if I don't know how to play the riff but I have it in my head, I'll hum it to him. And that's just like how some of this shit goes, but it always comes out really, really cool.
Dude, I've learned that like humming riffs is like a real thing. Like, because I'm such a music nerd, I'm like, no, there has to be a certain harmony and all this stuff. But like a lot of the awesome riffs that you're hearing from like bands like Gideon and whoa, a lot of the riffs and cool things that you're hearing from bands like Gideon and like Knocked Loose, they're like mouthed like ahead of time. At least that's what I've heard some of those guys like talk about, you know, when it comes to that. Exactly, yeah. So is Josh drumming on these songs, or are you guys hang on, I'm gonna redo that. I'll edit this out. I got a little thing in my throat, man.
Dude, let me get it.
Yeah, so that's always fun. James, is Josh drumming on these songs? Or are you like using a drum program of some sort to get the drum sounds?
So I'm programming the drums. I believe we're using a Buster kit for like, you know, all the recording and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes Robbie will go in there and actually play live drums on his E-kit, and then go in there and like tweak things and stuff like that. But Josh is my live drummer. We were going to have a thing where he was writing drums, but he's got so much shit going on right now that it's like literally impossible for my deadline to get done. Like, and there's at least 7 songs right now. So Josh is my live drummer. He's my drummer for my music videos. He's the drummer for touring. He's the drummer for local shows. So even though he didn't have a hand in writing it, he's still very much a part of like the band, and it's very important to me to have him involved in it in the first place, because like I have to be able to trust the people that I'm working with, and I know that like he's like the most trustworthy drummer that I've ever worked with. So to have him on board is like pretty fucking cool.
It is cool. He's awesome. I've wanted to steal him for a while, but I know he's a busy man.
Everybody, is it only?
You're the only one, dude. You're the only drummer that's around here.
Sadly, yeah. Does anyone ever suffer from, what is it, imposter syndrome? Do you know?
No one ever deals with that.
No, I mean, like, do y'all like? Let me reword it. Do y'all ever suffer from imposter syndrome?
Absolutely, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because sometimes I'll be sitting there and I'm like, dude, I suck. Like, fuck, I suck. Because then I'll watch like Naveen and be like, ah, oh, jeez.
Yeah, he's crazy, but he's got like 10 years on you in the game, you know. So
yeah.
It's like I think imposter syndrome can kind of come out when you're getting really close to getting to the next level, you know?
Yeah.
You're kind of leveling up your playing, and then you might come across somebody that's like way further along in their journey, and you're like, man, should I even be doing this? Like, you know?
Just like when I went and saw Inferi live, I was like, oh shit, okay, so I need to practice more.
Yeah.
more practice.
Yeah, I mean that's come up for me recently because I'm learning like Hate Eternal, Cannibal Corpse, and like Defeated Sanity songs, because I'm trying to get better at guitar, and that's the style of metal that I want to play, as much as I love Gent and Meshuggah songs. So like I will start getting my foot in the door on like a Defeated Sanity song, and I'm still like 40 BPM below the target tempo. Like, but then I have to remind myself that like they're writing like anomalous, like autistic level guitar music that no one else has really ever done before, you know? So I kind of have to like, you have to put it into its proper place, you know, in your head. And I just think baby steps, man, like getting up every day and playing drums and just being consistent and not letting too much time pass before your next like practice session, you know?
And so that is, that's exactly
even though the last practice session was a disaster, you know, or whatever. So, or the last show or the last thing, you know. Yo, so Josh, we were talking about your drumming. I feel like you've like really improved in the last like few years. Like, what made you want to like level up your game, man? Like, was there a specific like show you went to or like moment that you were just like, I need to like get better?
So when I was younger, I always wanted to just like play music live. I didn't know what I wanted to be, but let's see, around like I think 13, I went to my first concert and it was like Godsmack and Metallica, and I saw like this like drum solo and I was like, dude, that is sick. Like, I want to do that. So before I joined the military, like I sat down, did a bunch of like just listening to like Lamb of God, and kind of just like that metalcore area and just like learning drums there. And then did the military, didn't really drum, came out of it, and I joined Meditator.
Meditator.
And they kind of made me sit there and be like, oh, there's a lot that I don't know about drums. So being with them kind of like put me into a mindset of like, I need to practice. Like, in order to like play shows and be like awesome live, I need to practice. So that's where I kind of just sat there and went through like a deep dive of like, what is a paradiddle? How do you apply the paradiddle? Can you chop it up? Can you invert it? And then I just went through like a whole thing. And then I went to Matt Gartzka's drum clinic.
Cool.
And that was kind of like the moment where I was like, okay, I want to be on that level.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I want to be. So that's where I just started to just take an even deeper dive, learn how to read music, figure out like subdivisions, different type of subdivisions. And then, that was like mainly the biggest thing. And then of course, when I joined Deathless, getting into that death metal realm, I went and saw Inferi live, and I was like, holy crap. Okay. So now I need to practice even more and get to an even more like, that's where I want to be type ordeal. So there's always something that I see out there that I'm like, okay, so I can improve even more. Like, I have to keep going.
Yeah.
Basically.
Did you see Inferi with Spencer?
No, I saw it with their newer drummer.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see them with Spencer, but I missed that opportunity.
He's going to be playing with Archspire.
Yeah, so, insane.
Which is an even crazier. Well, they're both about the same level of crazy, I would say, in terms of drumming.
Yeah.
That, like where metal drumming is now, it's that we're on a whole nother like level, I feel like, with what drummers are kind of expected to do. Like, you got guys like Bryce Butler from Shadow of Intent, Austin Archie, Naveen Koperweiss. Like, just what you're expected to do as a drummer in a metal band is just so, I think it's just insane to where it was like maybe in the 90s or something, or the early 2000s. Like, even like you mentioned Lamb of God, like that drumming is really challenging and physical too, but I think like those BPMs are a lot slower compared to what people are doing these days.
Yeah. And it's and honestly, like a lot of like how I've been like learning drums is either through a DAW or slowing down a YouTube video and being like, what is he doing? And then trying to like transcribe what he's doing. And then I'll sit behind that, loop whatever is going on, and just play it slow until I can get the hang of like everything that's going on, and then speed it up, and then once I'm 100%, I'm good. But I'm
getting
sure
to
you
100, getting to 100 is crazy. Like I used to drum not near the level that you were at, and I kind of gave up because like I want to play guitar more, and I think that should be my wheelhouse as much as I love drumming. But recently I transcribed Behold Judas, the Derek Roddy playthrough,
dude.
And that it took an entire day, like to sit there, like doing like a 5-second clip at a time, and figuring out what drum he's hitting.
And then you're like, is that a ghost? No, is that a triplet? No, that's a 16th note. Okay, never mind.
It was just wild, like going through that. And I thought it wouldn't take as long as it did, but I was just like, whatever, like we'll just do it until it's done.
Yeah. So one of the favorite things that I think is really cool right now in the drumming realm is metric mod. That stuff to me is like just so like fresh to me in my brain. Like I'll be sitting there listening to a song, and if they do a metric mod, it immediately grabs my attention again, and I'm like, ooh, what else is going on? Like, are they going to snap out of this? Like what's going to happen basically? I guess Dysfunction does that metric modulation, and I'm like, yes, dude, please, more of that. And
can you explain what that is for people that might be watching that don't know what that is?
So it's basically just, we could take like a 4/4 measure, just a standard 4/4 time signature, and basically if you're playing like 1, 2, 3, 4, you can change either by displacing like an 8th note or a 16th note. So then instead of playing on the 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, you can change what's happening on your, like, let's say your right hand, and you can do like maybe a dotted 8th note while still maintaining like the 4/4 feel. So it kind of sounds like you're slowing down the song, but you're not. Same BPM, same tempo, and then just trying to figure out where the 1 is again and snapping back into it. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, and just going back into it, and
that's cool.
I'm trying
stuff.
to figure that side of it out, so then I can apply it to like the newer Deathless stuff. I'm trying to figure that out. So that's another little thing that I'm trying to just figure out around the kit.
Yeah. I think the king of that thing, that metric mod thing, is Virgil Donati. Are you familiar with him?
No, but I do need to.
He has a song called Alien Hip Hop. He was in a band called Planet X for a while. It's all like progressive jazz fusion stuff. I mean, Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater does metric mods all the time, but he kind of does it in a kind of the same way every time, like at least. But if you want to hear someone who's really mastered it, like I'm not saying Mike Portnoy hasn't mastered it, but Virgil Donati, he hears a riff and can perceive it in all of these different ways. And he just does, it's to the point where it's like, oh my gosh, like it's hard to follow, like a lot of his music. I don't know if that's a bad thing, but I really think what he does is amazing. And if you want to hear metric mod, in my opinion, he does it at the highest level. From anyone that I've heard. So check out Virgil Donati. He's played with a bunch of bands over the years, like Ring of Fire was another project, and he drums for other people too. He auditioned for Dream Theater back in the day when they were doing that like audition process. But he's a monster, man. He's in a category of his own.
Talking about like jazz fusion, that is like my go-to like listen listening style. Like if it's just me, I'll put on Pliny and just listen through the whole catalog of Pliny, or let's see who else. Chon's good.
Yeah.
God, there's Animals as Leaders, of course.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of
those,
like the staple.
Though you could consider those jazz fusion bands. I would check out anyone that's played with Holdsworth. You know, any Alan Holdsworth record is worth listening to from a drumming standpoint, because you're going to hear stuff that you don't hear in metal, and then you can take those ideas and like apply them.
Yeah.
And other jazz fusion, even like Marbin, like we interviewed him a few months ago on the show, the guitar player Danny Rabin. Awesome interview. And I mean, the drummers that play with him like are pretty hip to that stuff too. But even like what's another good jazz fusion group? Or I mean, Scott Henderson too he's like it's more like old school fusion, tribal tech too. Check out some tribal tech.
There's a, I can't remember the name of the guitarist, but Connor got me into him. One of the albums is called Who Bit the Moon. Okay. And it's got Troy Wright on drums. And it's, you have to listen to the whole album like as like a whole, because it's like a whole story in of itself. Like some of the, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how they program their sounds, but some of the stuff that he does on the guitar, it's like it's singing. It's really freaking sweet. And of course the drums just sound awesome. Like anything on that realm just sounds great.
That's sick, man. What drums and cymbals do you kind of gravitate towards, and like what other pieces of gear would you recommend for drummers who are trying to do what you do?
So for cymbals, I love Meinl. I just love their database of just cymbals, dude. Like some of the like the bullet stacks, almost all their stacks are unique and just sound awesome. Their bells, just anything cymbal wise from Meinl is gold. And then as far as like trying to get into like any newer drummers getting into like metal, like the type of gear, you don't have to get the most expensive things, you know, especially if you're trying to play live. Like just getting stands, honestly, is a really good starting point. Because then you can get used to like breaking things down, because technically you're supposed to have like 15 minutes of up and down between bands. So just like getting the groove of that. And I play with Mapex. That's the shells that I use. I want to try out Tama, because what is that? Alex Rudinger, he uses Tama. Yeah. And they just sound great.
Yeah, to me they're like the quintessential metal drum, you know, is that brand. Just it just seems like they're synonymous with that style of music. Tama's really like kind of the forerunner, and then Pearl as well. But I think any company you go with these days, they make a great shell, and it might even be like something made in Indonesia or something, but you can get some great drums for not very much money these days.
And honestly, like even just like good heads on like a cheap shell, and just like tuning it properly, or like finding the right tune to you, can make a $400 kit sound like $1,000 kit, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what I did when I first started drumming. I just had a basic $400 kit. I used Evans heads because I tried Remo when I first started drumming. I just love the way Evans heads sound. But those and some good cymbals, and that's literally it. Yeah. I was good from that point.
How about pedals? Like, what are you using these days, and what have you used in the past?
So before, I was doing chain drives, and it was just the Pearl Eliminators. And now I'm using the Pearl Demon drives. So it's just direct drive, no chain. And I've spent almost a total of like 6 hours tweaking, going through those pedals, figuring out the correct tension for my body weight, and everything.
Wow.
I love those pedals. They are freaking awesome. And I've changed the beaters. When I first got those pedals, my right beater busted, dude, just blown to pieces. So I was like, okay, so I should probably get some more durable beaters. So I went with J. Rod Sullivan. He's a freaking phenomenal drummer, amazing chops. But he's got some beaters that have like little weights that go around them, so you can take away the weights, add weights, try to figure out like what the good weight is for what you're trying to do. And yeah, I highly recommend those beaters. They're freaking awesome. They're flat too, so you can change it between plastic and felt, and it's awesome.
That's sick. Yeah, have you tried like the wood beaters before? I know that's a company that...
No, I haven't, but I've seen a lot of drummers use those, and I'm like, maybe I should try those to see what they're like. Yeah. There's just so much gear out there. It's crazy.
There is, man. I really like the Trick Pro 1V pedals. That's what I had when I had my kit.
Oh, okay. Those are expensive.
They are.
Pedals.
They were. I think I bought them for $650 used, but normally if you wanted to order a pair, they're like $1,200.
Yeah, but the amount of customization that you can do on those pedals is insane. You can have those pedals super dialed in to the point to where it's like, I think there's like little marks on the pedals to where you can set the bridge height. What else is it? You can set the tension of the springs. Like there's a lot of things that you can do on those pedals, which is probably why they're like $1,000 to $2,000.
Yeah, and a lot of people will get they may not have Trick pedals, but they'll get the Trick drive shaft.
Yeah,
because it's like super strong.
I've
titanium
or
something like that, maybe.
And there's something about so on the left, if you're using like double foot pedals, the left foot usually has like more tension just naturally, because it has to with the shaft it has to move more weight. So apparently with those Trick pedals, you can swap out and put the Trick pedals in, and it's supposed to help alleviate some of the tension that you feel on the left pedal. And I've thought about that. I haven't done it yet, but I've been thinking about doing that. Just swapping the shaft that I have right now.
A little bit of a shaft swap, if you will.
Yeah.
What's your take on triggers?
I use triggers. So, just like I was saying earlier, triggers are good. I think triggers are like, for live sound, I think they're really good for like cutting through mixes. If you can use a trigger and also use like maybe a mic in the bass drum, you could probably get like
to get the low end. Yeah.
To get the low end, but I think triggers for live, especially like local shows, I think is nice because it cuts through the mix and you can hear what the kicks are doing. But
I would say anything over 160, you probably want to start using triggers.
Yeah.
Unless like, I mean, I saw Full of Hell. Like David Bland is insane drummer. I don't think they're using triggers, but they're like a grindcore band.
Okay.
So he has 2 kick drums too now, so I think they get the mix dialed in a way that it works. So,
but also it's all technique. It's what type of technique you're doing. See me anything above like 200, I'm doing double strokes.
Yeah.
Which I'm trying to steer away from. And I just want to figure out how to do the swivel foot.
It's badass, dude. It's so badass.
Because you get the speed and the power, which, God, yeah, just more practice.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thanks for talking about that stuff. And James, I know this is a riveting conversation for you, man. But we have limited time with Josh, so I wanted to dig into that. So,
yeah.
What's it been like playing music with Josh, man?
He's the best drummer that I've ever worked with. And I find it to be very important when you're doing music with somebody to have a connection and a friendship that you don't have with other people. Because I've been in bands with people that, like, you know, wouldn't do a goddamn thing for me. And that's just not the way I like to function. And this solo thing, it's every band that I've ever been in has failed because of somebody else. And I got so fucking tired of that, especially after the Aphonia stuff. And that's what made me do the solo thing and do it as hard as I'm doing it. But it's still equally as important to make sure that the people that are in my band, that they are friends. And that, you know, like, I know that I got them and they got me.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh and I have been close ever since we both got into Aphonia. Like, basically since day one, like, we just kind of like vibe with each other really good.
Which I still think it's funny. We did those cover shows.
Yeah.
And I went to one cover show, and we were outside, and
I was drunk as fuck.
And I knew about Phoenix Studios, and I was like, I want to do a drum cover with them. Like, that's cool. So I was like, well, I have no connections, you know? So I was like, well, I can go and talk to James, and I'll see if, like, maybe I can, you know, be like, hey, can I do a cover? You want to do a cover with me? And so I go up to him, and I even get a chance to ask him that, and he looks at me and goes, you want to be in a band? I was like, sure. What does it sound like? And he showed me, I think it was Coda. And I was like, ooh, that sounds cool. Okay, yeah. And then, yeah, the rest is kind of history from there. Just did a few audition videos, sent them in, and what is it? I think I practiced one good time, and then, yeah, that was kind of it. It was kind of history from there.
That's awesome. No, it's funny how the planets can align for just the right moment.
Yeah. I remember I was, because those cover shows, they're fun to play to an extent, but there's also so many people that end up getting put on them that are just not good at what they do, and they get put on the wrong songs for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, they just signed up for a song that they wanted to play and maybe didn't do the homework.
Yeah, and then, like, you're stuck on stage with people that don't know what they're doing, and you're the only one who does, and it's embarrassing. So the last few of those cover shows that I played, because I had nothing else going for me live at the time, and it's all I could do, I would get shit-faced at these things just to get through them. Because having to watch 3 hours outside of what I'm doing of people just fucking up over and over and over again got to the point to where, like, if I didn't get drunk, I couldn't sit through it. So I got drunk as fuck, and then Josh came up to me, and I remember I was just like, he seems like a cool dude. He seems like a cool guy. You want to be in a band? But it worked out. It worked out really well. And I remember you botched that fucking Creed cover that you did that night. Everybody on the stage was just like off time from each other and shit like that. And I was still I was still like, I still want him. He's fine. He's a cool guy. I'm sure he could play a lot better. And then turns out he's one of the best drummers that I've ever fucking met. So
what happened with the Creed song?
everybody was, I remember it was just like listening to it. I was like, nobody is playing this right now. It felt like Josh was like struggling to like try to keep it together.
Yeah.
But everyone else was just like.
So I have a monitor, right? So to where you can like hear the rest of the band. It wasn't Creed. You're thinking of Savior. There was because Creed was fine. But it was Savior by
Was it Rise Against?
Rise Against.
Okay.
So there's a middle section, right, where it like guitars kind of cut off, and it's just like a kick drum. But there was a moment, I don't really remember exactly what it was, but in that moment when there was nothing playing, I think there's a guitar that comes in, but there was no guitar that came in. So I was like, okay, I have to fill this space somehow. So I just started doing like a quarter note kick. And then
like waiting for the guy to come in.
Yeah.
Giving him another chance to
yep.
save the song.
I mean, I think the rest of the song went well, but most of those cover shows, it's just a bunch of musicians just getting together and just,
Yeah. I've played a couple of them, man, and they're fun, and it's a great community activity, and like people for a while there, people were really coming out to those. I played Happy New Year, and I actually played a song with your dad. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, no shit.
Played Bodies by Drowning Pool.
Oh, okay.
And I showed up with full jumpsuit. It was Happy New Year, man, so it's new metal, and I had like welder's goggles, and I looked ridiculous, but I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go all in.
See,
and
those are the type of dudes that I like playing with. Those, because it's like we're like on the ones that we play. It's like it says Nashville's best musicians,
right,
performing these songs, and it's like, okay, we got to live up to the flyer,
right?
So like, to play with people that are willing to put on the costumes, willing to not only learn the songs, but get together before you play the show and actually rehearse them. Those are the ones that always end up being the best songs of the night. But then you have other people that learn the song the day of because for some reason they couldn't fucking figure out any other time to do it, even though you have like 2 to 3 months notice. And it's just like, I don't know, man. I'm not trying to talk shit, but I am talking shit.
Well, there's a certain level that people should show up to the gig on, even though it is more of a fun kind of community thing and it's all cover stuff. Like, we're not covering top 40. We're covering like very specific metal and rock songs that people know. The biggest rock songs of the last 20, 30 years.
Especially metal, because
your dad crushed it that night, by the way. I couldn't think of a better guy to sing Bodies. But what ended up happening during that song is I was so hyped and like I was so like wanting to put on a show. I was like jumping up and down, and I didn't have a guitar with strap locks on, and one of the freaking strap buttons, not the button itself, but the strap came off. And then the guitar went like this, and then some of the tuners knocked into my shoulder. Then I pick up the guitar and I go to play that wow, like the wah part, and it's fucking out of tune, dog. So I'm trying to like bend strings like while I'm playing that riff, and luckily like I was able to like tune at some point in that song. I think I was able to tune and fix it, but I just felt so bad that song, like, it didn't go as good as it could have gone.
I wish more people would feel bad about it.
Oh, I felt terrible. That they would
not do it again.
But we also, that same night, I played like 3 Korn songs with this guy who he's in the scene, and he does a lot of like, he's done his own like 9 Inch Nails cover nights.
John
did such a great job with the Korn vocals, man. Like, he sounded just like Jonathan Davis, and we booked a Diamond Sound room a couple times before that to like make sure we had the shit down. Like getting on stage and playing Korn and like botching it.
Dude, I remember playing an After the Burial song.
Oh my god, dude!
And in the middle of it, it's fucking lost in the static.
I remember that.
Were you on drum? No, it was Bryson was on drums. But you remember watching that shit? We were so it was like, you know, the fucking, so halfway through the song, we go to another transition, and it's supposed to be a guitarist starts, and then another guitarist comes in, and they both just looked at each other and went.
Earlier we were talking about like the cover music thing, where basically you get a bunch of musicians together and you cover like a style of music. A lot of the time it was metal. I remember like one of the first ones I went to was like a King Thrust entertainment show, and they did like an entire night of Tool songs, and they had all these musicians come and cover Tool. It was pretty interesting, man. It's pretty cool to see like different drummers, different vocalists like do the Maynard, you know, the Danny Carey, Adam Jones thing, right? So I guess you know a lot of people that are involved in putting on those shows. Is that right?
Definitely when it comes to like the Music City Hero Coalition and the iProduction stuff. I don't know much about like the other cover shows. I've done like some photography at like something that happened at the Basement East where it was like a bunch of like 70s, like, you know, like Led Zeppelin and stuff like that.
I know the other one is like Rare Hair.
I've always wanted to play Rare Hair.
Yeah.
Because they do so many different genres, but like, you know, like they'll do fucking Motley Crue and Slipknot in the same night, you know, like, but the thing is with Rare Hair is I've never seen a bad song at a Rare Hair show ever.
Yeah.
Like it seems like the people that they bring in put in the work to make sure that those shows go off without a hitch. Whereas other ones, it's like people don't put in the same effort.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm like, I'm a stickler for perfection. I demand excellence from myself before I go on stage and while I'm on stage. So I expect the same thing from the people that are on stage with me. And when that doesn't happen, it emotionally distresses me.
Yeah, it sucks, man.
It makes me very, very like, and everyone else would be like, oh, that was so much fun. Yeah, we did it. And I'm like, no, we fucking didn't. No, we fucking didn't. Like, if you think that was okay, then you need to reevaluate yourself as a musician because that wasn't okay. You fucked up multiple times and fucked everyone else that was on the song with you because you couldn't take the time to learn the fucking thing in the first place. I get very upset. Okay, there was one show that I was playing. It was one of the cover shows. And again, I had to get like by the near end of me playing these things, I had to get really drunk in order to be able to make it through the night.
Seems to be a theme there, James.
Yeah. But it got to the point to where like I turned into an asshole. I got way too drunk and people will get done with their songs and I'd be like, you fucking suck. Like just being an asshole. I'm not proud of it. But it was like, that's like how much it started affecting me.
Yeah.
It really got to the point to where like I was no longer even able to control my own character because it made me so fucking upset because it's supposed to be like, you know, like the best musicians in town. But then half the people leave through the show because halfway through the show
they
like
realize
you show up and there's fucking 600 people in the goddamn venue and then halfway through the show there's like 200.
Wow.
And it's because, you know, they paid $20-$30 to go fucking watch this thing and they'd rather go anywhere else. They'd rather go home than stay for the rest of it because these people aren't doing their fucking jobs.
Yeah.
And it makes me super, super duper upset. Like and I know not everybody's on the same page. A lot of these people, these are the only shows that they ever get to play. They're not in it like some of us are. But like, I don't know. That's the thing with Nashville, man. Like there are so many goddamn musicians around here, but there aren't enough professionals, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. I think some people, they may have like a false sense of where they're at on the guitar or on the drums or at performing. Right. And those cover shows, I guess they're a place where you can kind of work on that. But when you're selling the show as like Nashville's best musicians playing these classic songs, like, and a lot of the time they would be put on for like charity too. So
it's usually always,
it's usually always charity. But yeah, that is unfortunate, man, that happens. Like, and I think a lot of musicians, at least like I'm taking this back to like 2018, kind of before the pandemic, those types of shows were like really popular, man. Like there was a Roadrunner Records show that I played. I played a couple Turnstile songs. And I can't remember some of the other tunes that we played, but that was another King Thrust Entertainment show. I think the bass player for Havoc, Brandon is his name, was the one putting those shows on, and they were really fun. But I think what a lot of the musicians thought what was going to happen is they were going to get either like more gigs, they were going to form a band, somebody was going to see them, you know, play a cover song, I guess, and like they would get more recognition. And like I don't think that ever happened, you know, like for a lot of people. But it's also like I think the healthy way of looking at those concerts is that it's a community event. You're rubbing shoulders with everybody else that, you know, is in the industry, whether they play on Broadway, whether they play with an artist, you know, and a lot of the times, especially with Rare Hair, that's put on by Tyson Leslie. If you want to do Rare Hair, I would say follow him on Facebook, because I think he still does it. But they would bring in like band members from the actual bands, like Lizzie Hale played. I know like Jay Weinberg would play those shows. So they would get some you know, quote unquote famous members. I want to say the bass player from Exodus played like some of those shows too.
Yeah, I can't. What's his name?
He's a Nashville guy. I've seen him around.
He's got the long blonde hair.
Yeah, he's just an OG metal guy.
Yeah.
I saw him at the Cannibal Corpse show, but
he was there.
Yeah. So I think the best way to look at it is like getting to rub shoulders with other musicians in the scene and play some cool songs that you wouldn't normally hear at a cover show. But it is like the point that you're making is it's just so unfortunate that people don't put in the effort. And I think you mentioned Mike Ritchie, right? He was one of the guys that put on Happy New Year.
I didn't know he did that one.
I'm pretty sure that's him. But like he was like coordinating a lot of things, like getting the Kemper amplifiers and getting a back. Like I think he talked to PV one time, and PV showed up and did a back line. That was a different show actually. But he had all these Kempers for everybody to plug into, and you could tell he was working his ass off, you know, letting people borrow his guitars.
He does work hard on those shows.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been kind of a little bit out of touch with that, because like personally, I think more musicians should focus on original material and not cover songs. I
agree.
I think it's really cool what Phoenix Studios does, you know, and they have all these Patreon people that subscribe, and it's like a business, you know, like people they want to learn how to mix songs, and they might as well learn to mix with like really great stems made by Phoenix Studios of a cover song that they know. Like I get it, it makes sense, but personally, that's not necessarily what I'm interested in. You know, I think it would be better to why don't you just make another album? Because after a few albums or a few EPs, you might have something really cool, you know, and it'd be original material that you can, you know, put out on DistroKid, get a little bit of Spotify revenue.
I'll tell you, the most revenue that I've made so far off of Spotify is the Nuck If You Buck cover.
Okay. So you can do like a revenue share with the original. So they are making money from those covers.
And it's honestly, it's crazy because it's like 2 or 3 years later after we released that cover that, what are their names? I know Princess was one, and I think it was Lil J. that finally saw the cover and like shared it to their stories and stuff. Like
what
years
is
later.
Nuck If You Buck? Is that a rap song?
Yeah, it's a band called, or a group called Crime Mob.
Okay.
It was like, for me, it was a big, like, I used to get in fights a lot growing up, a lot. Like it was an issue. But if I knew I was getting into a fight, I would listen to Nuck If You Buck.
Oh my gosh.
Before showing up to school. Like I would listen to it on the bus and stuff like that. Like it was a huge banger for like the early 2000s like rap scene.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they like finally like saw it, and it's like, it's funny because they're definitely making money, because they make more money off of the cover than I do.
Yeah.
And I've like, it's usually like, and I let my DistroKid like fall apart. I never thought I was going to do the solo thing again, so I just stopped paying for it. But when it was up for those first like couple years, every like quarter I would make like $50 to $60.
Yeah, you get a little bit of,
and I'm only
payout on that.
I'm only getting like 20% of like what they're getting.
Yeah.
So like, good for them, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, and that's my point, is like, write a song that, that is yours. And I think the cover thing is good if you want to develop your skill. Like, I'm working on a bunch of different guitar cover things for my main YouTube channel. And it's more for me to like because every time I learn a riff from like, especially like someone like Eric Rutan or Lily Gruber from Defeated Sanity, like when I learn how they view music and the guitar, like I grow a lot. So I'm doing it for that point, and then inevitably I'll write something that maybe borrows some of those ideas, or I just take their perspective on the instrument to my own music. And I think that's cool, but putting like, I don't know, man, maybe I'm wrong. Like, I guess being able to generate revenue with that concept is cool. It's just not something that personally that I would want to do, but there's a lot of different people out there, and
when I first started, man, I was doing a lot of cover stuff. Whether it be just for TikTok or, whatever, like, because I didn't have a lot of solo stuff going on, I would just do covers of things for Instagram and what have you. And there are certain ones that actually, me and this guy did a Blackpink cover, and it fucking ridiculous. It got up to like 80,000 likes and like 500,000 views.
Wow.
And like just went crazy. And it was awesome. But at the same time, like, what did that do for me?
Well, I think what it did is it put a lot more eyes on you as an artist, so like maybe the way to do it is to strategize and like do a cover of a hot song, and then right after that put your own stuff out, and people are like, oh, I'm gonna stick with this guy, like I'm gonna keep watching what he's doing. And
I'm not saying that I'll never do a cover again, because I'll definitely keep on doing a cover, like especially when it comes to turning rap songs into deathcore. I think it's just an amazing recipe.
Yeah.
But
two of the worst styles of music coming together. Okay. I'm kidding, bro.
But I just want to focus on originality at this point.
Yeah.
I don't have any covers on my radar. There is one. I want to do Little Windex cleaning up in a deathcore fashion.
Okay.
But that's like something that's like on the back of my mind. Like, it's nowhere near the forefront of what I'm trying to do, because right now all I'm trying to do is put out this solo content, put out this original rock and roll, whatever style fashion that's going into it, songs that I've been doing. And I'm trying to make this a career. So something that I've been, and I mean, like, you can get as mad as you want, whoever looks at this and is like, oh, you're fucking fake for this. But I am literally going out of my way to write as catchy as possible. I'm going for radio fashion, pop sequences, pop style, like pop, structure, pop structure. I go for pop structure on a lot of these songs. So, you know, it's a lot of like the song will start off with the main riff that comes in for the chorus. So it'll play like that for one measure, and then it'll have another measure come in where the same thing is being played, but a lead comes in that matches it. And then it's verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, breakdown, chorus, whatever. I'm going for a recipe that I've seen work over and over and over again since the dawn of time when it comes to music.
Dude, I agree with that, man. Like, some of the best metal songs of all time are like pop songs, you know? I mean, even if you want to look at like Limp Bizkit and Korn, like that stuff is incredibly catchy. And like those vocal hooks, you know, the Jonathan Davis, like his vocals are just unmatched in my opinion. Like it's just so catchy. So I think that it is good to pursue that if you're going for more of a broader spectrum of listeners.
Yeah.
I'm going for like I would say my music is niching down, you know, like on just brutal death metal. Like that's what I want to play, because the people that listen to that are like very devoted and very committed to whether it be slam or just like technical death metal. And it's the stuff I enjoy playing. I enjoy a challenge. So, but I appreciate the fact that like you're looking at song form and trying to create something that people want to come, because you want people to listen to your song more than once, right?
Yeah.
And even technical death metal has hooks, you know? So I think that's a good strategy, man. So who are some of like your biggest influences as an artist?
Oh, that's hard. That's hard because it depends on what time frame of my life we're talking about. Because I listen to metal, I listen to rock, but I also listen to like 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s hits. Like I love Louis Prima. He's like very Italian niche singer. He's you know the song Pennies from Heaven?
No.
Pennies from Heaven.
Okay. No.
I'm huge at like whenever I cook, all I do is listen to like classical Italian or like Paganini or Mozart, Beethoven, you know, that kind of thing. But I will say that like my favorite band of all time is Typo Negative.
Okay.
But Motionless in White is another big one. Marilyn Manson. Let's see. I was a huge emo kid, so Bring Me the Horizon, Attack, Asking Alexandria, The Devil Wears Prada. Those were huge influences for me growing up. But also like very, very just big into 80s thrash and 80s hair metal, 90s grunge, Pantera, huge influence for me growing up. Lamb of God, Killswitch Engage, just a lot of different stuff. But then I also, you know, I love Ariana Grande and I love Lady Gaga. I'm just kind of like all over the place. I like so many different genres of music, so it's really hard to tell what my influences are, especially with this new stuff, because the new stuff is like
sounds like it's really varied.
It is. It depends. Yeah. And honestly, it depends on the song. Cause like, I have a song called Blowout. You listen to that.
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
That's very like Rancid, Blink-182, Quiet Riot, that kind of thing. And then I have the country rock song that'll be coming out next year. That one's very like Leonard Skinner, Kid Rock mixed with Alice in Chains and Alice in Chains.
Yeah,
Alice in Chains is, especially for me vocally, is a huge influence. I would literally like back to back listen to their albums in high school. I would just take one out of the CD player and put another one in. Alice in Chains was a huge influence. I remember a memory that I have. I was about 7 or 8 years old, and I started going to church with like a friend in school, and my dad was like super upset by it, and I didn't understand it at the time, but he wanted me to grow up and have my own influences and choices. He didn't want me going to church and somebody telling me what to believe. So I remember that I was talking about God or something like that to him, and he sat me down and put on Alice in Chains MTV Unplugged, and he said, "This is God." and ever since then, it's just been like engraved in my head, like Alice in Chains is God. Alice in Chains is God.
Man, that's interesting. That's a really dark, like, form of music, man, especially that, like, down in a hole. Like, I mean, in my opinion, it's great music. And Lane Staley, his vocal delivery on stage, but also like the stuff he would do in the studio with layering vocals, and you know, him working with a producer and the producer being like not really know where he's going with the harmony, and then it would all come together once like the 4 layers would be added to the vocal, and it would make sense. And in that sense, I think he's brilliant, but I look at him as such a ungrounded, tortured soul, which is why he got involved with substances. And
that's why he died.
And it's ultimately why he died, and why we don't have any more Alice in Chains music.
Well, we do. They got the new guy.
Yeah.
And the album, what is it? Black Gives Way to Blue or something like that. The album that they came back with the new singer, I actually love.
Yeah,
I thought it
was great.
I thought it was a pretty fucking. Now I haven't heard anything since then that I'm a fan of, but that one album was so fucking cool. And it's not Lane. It'll never be Lane again.
Yeah.
But the twist that they did on bringing the new guy in and him being like the guy that stepped up to the plate.
Yeah.
And that band probably had at least 100 people come in and try to be the new vocalist.
Some tough shoes to fill.
And they chose him for a reason. I believe that he does do a good job live of like covering the songs that Lane did and stuff like that. I don't know, man. Alice in Chains. But like, that's the same thing. So like, I've seen some stuff on Facebook where I see that Typo Negative is possibly talking about doing some shows again. Who the fuck are you going to have come in and play Peter Steele? Because that's exactly what the fuck they have to do in order to do it right. There's just certain bands that you can never ever truly replace.
He's had such a big persona.
Yes,
man, and he's also a huge guy too.
Yeah.
You know, 6'4".
Well, there is a band that is I think they're called October Rust. They're like a Typo Negative cover band, but they write also their own songs in like a Typo Negative fashion. And that guy is extremely close to Peter Steele. Not only that, he's also like 6'5", 6'6", or something like that. So he's a tall dude. He's got the look, he's got the brains, he's got the voice. So if they were to do that ever, I would vote that they pick that guy.
Yeah. From October Rush?
October Rust. I think they're
Rust.
Which is off of it's an album that Typo Negative put out, but I think they're called October Rust or something like that. I can't remember. My buddy showed them to me forever ago, and it's not a band that like I follow because I love Typo Negative. I don't want to hear a recreation of it.
Yeah.
But if there was a guy, that would be the guy.
Yeah. No, that's interesting, man. So in terms of like what you were just talking about, like with your dad, like, do you think your dad was just concerned that you would get caught up in like kind of the religious side of like who God is, and you know, kind of get caught in like man's construct of religion, and not like because personally I believe that there is a one true God, like the triune God of in Christianity, Jesus, you know, being the human form, and What's your take on Christianity and all of that stuff, man? Do you think about like the human soul, or like where we go after we die, or any of that kind of stuff?
I've definitely, so my dad and I are super cool now, and we have been super cool for years, but he was not the best dad growing up. But one of the things that I will say that I feel like he did right by me as a parent was give me the freedom of choice of exploring different religions. If I had a question about a different religion, he would encourage me to go read that book and figure it out myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I studied a bunch of different religions: Greek mythology, Christianity, Judaism, fucking all of it. All, like I explored hard growing up what I wanted to try to believe in, because I wanted to try to believe in something. But my opinion is there's definitely a God, but I don't think anybody has it right, because at this point, every single religion that is out there, a book that's been put out, I feel like has been corrupted by the current state of politics that it was in, or, you know, just man in general. I don't know what's going to happen in the afterlife. I don't know if there's a heaven or a hell. I don't know if there's a devil, but I do feel like we're not just going to fade out into nothing whenever we die.
Yeah.
Because what's the point of remembering tomorrow if when you die, you go nowhere?
Yeah. It's like, what's the meaning behind it's man's quest for meaning? I mean, it's since the dawn of time, like we've been trying to figure out why we have these thoughts, you know, and why, like, you know, we're just here for, you know, a certain amount of time and then we're gone, you know. But my consciousness, what happens to that after our bodies die, right?
Right. Yeah. And I mean, like, it's also it'd be super fucked to think that all of your relatives, all of your friends that have ever died, like they're nothing. Like they're not watching over you. They're not, you know what I mean? Like I feel like, and maybe this is like the human weakness. Like we desire something after we die. But at the same time, like, is it not a beautiful thought to think about being reunited with all the people that you've ever lost? But then at the same time, like, if a baby dies at fucking 6 months old, does that mean that they're a 6-month-old baby in heaven forever? You know, like it's I question, this is something that I will just like deep dive into and fall into forever. We could have a conversation about this for hours.
Sure.
I question so many things, even though I don't go into it questioning it, I will eventually question things. And that's just the kind of person that I am.
Yeah, you should, man. You shouldn't take things at face value. And I've had my own spiritual journey, you know, like being raised a Christian, walking away from Christ for several years, and then like renewing my faith, you know, somewhere around like 2015, 2016. I've been remained a Christian since then. You mentioned heaven and hell. I think heaven is just being in the presence of God, you know, and being like your perfect created self, like the person that God, I think we are created beings. And all God really wants is he wants a human family, you know, there are other entities, there's angels and demons, and God wants a family, you know. I think that's my take on that. Hell is probably, it might be a specific location. It could even be in the center of the earth for all I know. But hell is just separation from God, right? And it's eternity without him. And it's kind of like all of the bad things that humans and demons and entities, you know, that are suffering, what they would do to each other. That's where you dwell when you're separated from God. That's my take on like a little bit of like, you know, when it comes to I don't know the right word for it, eschatology, I guess. Like eschatology is more like the study of like the end times, but I think about that stuff all the time, and I think about the people that I interview and talk to, and like I bring it up for that reason, like because I think you're really missing out if you're not wrestling with those things, and it's cool that you are, man. Like, and I think it's a continual thing. And when it comes to Christianity, like I think I err on that side because it's well documented. Jesus fulfilled a lot of like the prophecies of the Old Testament. You can trace Jesus all the way back to like Genesis, the Davidic line. And it's just fascinating that like he showed up and God wanted to be on earth for a time, like to be just like us. Like the God of the universe became one of us and hung out with us for a little bit. And eventually he was killed, which is it makes me cry thinking about it, but that he would do what he did. But it's just an interesting thing, and to me that's the answer. You don't have to agree with me, but like that's just kind of where I'm at with that stuff. Yeah, I think one last point on Christianity, if I can. It's like the only religion where all you have to do is believe, basically, and you have like what's called the believing loyalty in God and who he says he is. All the other religions, you kind of have to measure up to a certain criteria, whether it be of holiness or enlightenment. It's more about making yourself into a god. I know like Islam is similar to Christianity in a sense, but when it comes to most other religions, you have to do the work, but in Christianity, God did the work for us by sending Christ, to die. He himself experienced what physical death in a very brutal way is for a human being, and he took on the sin of everyone at that point in time in history, previously in history, and in the future. So it's like God operates in time in a totally different way than we could even perceive. So yeah, any thoughts on that stuff, man? I'm sure you're familiar with some of those concepts.
Yeah. Here's my problem with Christianity. It gets involved in especially American politics way too much. We are supposed to be a country that was formed on freedom of religion and freedom of many things. But yet it is constantly thrown into the loop when it comes to our politicians. Another big problem that I have with the Bible is that it was made in a certain political climate that, in the Bible, there are rules that were made in that political climate. Like, you can't wear more than like, it's like certain types of like,
garments mentioned.
And, or like, like the whole gay thing being bad back then. Like, there's just so many things that Christians, not every Christian, but Christians in general, usually the ones that, at least I come from a small church town, small church farm town, where they take the gay thing so fucking seriously, but yet they still eat pork. They still wear however many garments they want. There are so many things that like people pick and choose that I feel aren't right. It's you're either going to follow the fucking book or you're not. You don't get to pick and choose. And if you are going to pick and choose, make a new fucking version. Make a new version in our current political climate that'll maybe like facilitate more towards how we are today as a human race. But I don't have a problem with Christians. I don't have a problem with Christianity. I have a problem with people that want to pick and choose what they want to satisfy their own needs. Yeah. And then use that as a power trip on other people. I have a huge problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, Christianity's been weaponized pretty hard, over the ages. I would say that what you're talking about, it being involved in politics, it's not really the true Christianity, and the degree to which Christianity is involved in politics is like I would say it doesn't need to be involved in politics. I think people's beliefs should be private. The rules that you're mentioning, like of the Old Testament, like wearing certain garments and not eating pork, like that's the old covenant. You know, Jesus, when he came, he said, you know, it doesn't matter what you eat. It doesn't matter if you're a Jew or a Gentile or, you know, anything. Like you're just as good as everybody else, basically. Is like we're all equals. And in terms of the gay discussion, I mean, that's one of the people have wrestled with that for ages, man. And I look at that as just we're all sinners, man. It's just a different form of sin that some people have, and some sins we're even born with, right? You know?
I had a conversation with my brother. My brother is super duper Christian, goes to church every Sunday. His children are involved in church. Wife, you know, they every Facebook post is thank God. Again, don't have a problem with it. Me and my brother have an understanding where he may be super that way and I may be super my way, but we're still brothers and it doesn't matter. And like we love each other unconditionally, no matter what, even though we very much disagree on certain things. But we were having a conversation the last time that I was back in my hometown. My girlfriend was there with me, and actually my girlfriend was having a conversation with my papaw, and I was having a conversation with my brother about gay marriage, gay this, gay that. And at one point, I just kind of looked at him and I was like, do you maybe think that after all this time, since God had to send his own son down to learn what it is to be human and to be corrected on the violent nature that he used to have, do you not think he could have been mistaken about people being gay? Like, what's the point of people literally being born gay if they're just going to be damned to eternity? Aren't we all created in God's image? Aren't we all?
It doesn't really, it doesn't mean if you're born gay, you're damned to hell. It's more
arguable for certain people.
Yeah, it's more of like, I don't know, like you could be a straight person and be incredibly sexually promiscuous, and like in my opinion, that is sin, man. You're appealing to the ways of the flesh. In terms, like, I'm not going to tell anybody how to live their life, but that, like, that's just, I think that's what the Bible says is like, turn from your wicked ways and pursue Christ. And in doing that, I think a lot of sin is going to be removed from your life. You might still remain gay though. Like, you might always be gay. That's just how that's how you are natured. You know, I don't have all the answers, man. That's how I look at it, as like, we're all in need of being more like God, you know, and removing, there's things in my life that I need to remove, you know, and to try, and like in doing so, I'm closer to Christ, you know, and I'm closer to who I think I was created to be. And it's incredibly difficult in the world that we live in, to be like Christ, you know. But I feel
like if more people that were Christian were actually trying to be like Christ, the world would be a better place.
Yeah, and like, yeah, just being more accepting of people. And it's not my business to tell anybody how to live their life or how to you know, or where they're going to go when they die. But I think I just go back to like believing loyalty in Christ and believing loyalty in God, and just saying like, I believe this. I mean, the Bible's it's so many different styles of writing, and in my opinion, it's God breathed, meaning like God is in every passage, you know, and it was put together. I know people are like, well, it's a man-made document, people put it together, but it's kind of like, you go back to like the Dead Sea Scrolls when they were discovered, I want to say in the 70s, like it didn't take away from the validity of Christianity, it only added to it, and it only confirmed what people already knew, which is kind of fascinating. And there's a lot of podcasts and resources if anybody's interested in like learning more about this stuff, but I talk about it on my show because I care about it and I care about people, and like I'll never not hang out with somebody because they have a different belief than me or they like different music.
Yeah,
like
same way.
Like
Yeah.
I think there's a certain level of respect that I sort of require of like people that want to be my friend or want to come on the show, but most people are willing to. I have a pretty low bar for like anybody that wants to hang out and come on the show, but and when I say that, I mean that those aren't. I'm not viewing these people as low, but they're, you know what I mean? Like dignity, treating your guest and your host with dignity and respect, regardless of what they believe in. And I'm down with if people want to disagree with me in the comment section and tell me I'm wrong about God and Jesus. That dude, that's fine. Go right ahead. Let's have a discussion. That's what the show is all about. So,
as long as it's a discussion and not beating each other down.
Yeah. I mean,
I used to be like that. I used to kind of be anti-Christian for a while, just because I tried to go to church still as a teenager. And I remember I was going to Life Point Church in Smyrna, Tennessee.
I think there's one here too, right?
There might be.
Clarksville? That sounds familiar. Yeah.
The youth pastor, I didn't even know that I was bisexual at the time. I had no idea. I was just a fucking 12-year-old kid, you know?
Yeah.
But I was an emo kid. I wore tight pants. I wore band t-shirts. I had the long swoopy and the one eye hair. And
Classic.
He straight up had a conversation with me telling me that I was going to burn in the lake of fire if I didn't change my ways. And I had no idea what the fuck he was talking about in the first place. And then he ended up bringing up the gay thing by the end of it. And I was like, at that time, I didn't even know. I was like, dude, I'm not gay.
Well, it's not, it's really none of, it's not the youth pastor's business what anyone's sexuality is. It's more like just caring for kids. Maybe he was trying to care for you and it just came off in like the most ridiculous way. I mean, that's another, just human error, man. People at church are broken. And I don't go to like a structured church because I think a lot of the time it's more of a show, and it's more of like a corporation than an actual church. That's why I don't go to like a church, but I do meet every week with a group of about like 15 Christians, and we just discuss the Bible, and it's been very good. Even that is messy, man. Like even that group of people who I love dearly, like we get in arguments, like nobody's perfect, you know, we struggle with each other. So like, and as you know, playing in bands and being in a music scene, it's just messy, man. People are messy.
The worst part about being in a band is being in a band with other musicians.
Yeah, exactly. Like you know, you can go off and do your own solo thing, but at some point you're going to need musicians, right? And you're going to have to learn how to work with people. And that's just the hardest part about doing music and being in a band. But even with all of the messiness and like the shit that can go wrong, like it still is beautiful to work with people. And that's why I love going to shows and interviewing people, is like people are so fascinating to me. And I used to be so like self-interested all the time. And like that is the road to just isolation and depression and destruction, is just being only interested in yourself. And like, that's part of why I started the show. Cause I love talking to people, and people are so interesting and fascinating, and they are messy, you know, and like we do all kinds of hurtful things to each other. But, I think in the end it's worth it. And, all I can say is just try to be more of a life-giving, constructive, generative person, you know, if you're in music, and try to like work on yourself, go to therapy, talk to people.
I go to therapy.
You know? Dude, me too. And like, it's just, we all could use a little bit of, a little bit of healing in that regard, where we're working out our problems. Cause I think there's a lot of things that we were taught as kids, certain ways we were brought up. Also, like, I believe in mass, like societal programming, like we're programmed to do certain things and to think a certain way. And we need to break out of that and realize who we really are as people. I think that's a big theme that that comes up a lot, is even the narrative of history too. I'm just learning is there's a lot of things that are wrong, that we were taught. And the impact of that is huge, especially if you want to look into like CIA ops and psyops and MK Ultra and like the all the stuff about psychedelics, right? And how the government was experimenting with psychedelics like for 10 years in the 50s, and then the 60s rolls around and they start to they start to introduce psychedelics into the music community, and like then you have 1969 happen and rock and roll, and it's all very fascinating to like look into. And I think a lot of things are not the way that they are. I know people that are non-conspiratorially minded think that everything is the way that it is, and I would argue that it's most certainly not the way that it appears. But I know that's a lot of stuff, man. But dude, let's talk about you a little bit more, man, and like tell me about your story. Like you were exposed to Alice in Chains as an 8-year-old, right? And then you're going to church. Your dad doesn't like that. Your youth pastor tells you that you're gay or something, or you need to stop being gay, or you're going to burn in hell. Like, what happens to James after that and into the man that you are now?
Well, I think I just got to start off by saying that I was born into hell. I think that would be the best way to describe it.
Damn.
My mother was a stripper / prostitute-ish, like my biological mother. My dad had me with her on accident. Me and my father are super cool now, and he's been sober for over 10 years, and he's a badass. He's a great father now, but growing up, he was very busy trying to be a rock star himself. He wasn't around much, and when he was around, sometimes it wasn't the best. And then I grew up with a stepmother who I called mother, but treated me completely differently than the rest of my siblings. Just for example, like I played football in high school, and it was a huge burden to ever take me to football practice. But when my sister started cheerleading, it was the greatest experience ever, and she couldn't wait to fucking do anything for her. I grew up in a household that was very toxic. The only escape that I ever had was visiting my grandparents on our family farm. They are the people that taught me how to love and taught me how to be a man. My grandfather taught me how to shave, that kind of whole thing. The only peace and solace that I ever got was going to that farm. When I was home, all I ever did was try to not be home.
Yeah.
And when I was home, it fucking sucked.
Man, thank God for the farm, dude.
Yeah, thank God for the fucking farm. So my entire childhood was kind of ass outside of being with my grandparents. I ran away at 17 years old, and ran away. I did not return home. I was on the run from the cops. I had a warrant out for my arrest and everything of being a runaway. I eventually, when I turned 18, turned myself in, got the warrant taken off of me, all that stuff. Went and I had to drop out of high school when I ran away, and then I went and got my diploma later on when I turned 18 and was able to do so. But I've always kind of had like a rough life growing up, and since I was very, very young, clinically diagnosed with manic depressive, manic bipolar, anxiety, PTSD, that kind of thing. I had a best friend from the time that I was 18 to almost 20. He died of a motorcycle accident, but he's the one who introduced me to cocaine. And when he died, I heavily relied on cocaine as a coping mechanism, and it turned into this huge spiral. I was heavily addicted to cocaine from the time that I was 18 years old, and technically still now. But I am 10 months sober now.
Good. Let's keep that train rolling, dog.
Yeah. But for a long time, man, not only was I addicted to drugs, but I was addicted to sex. There was a point in time in my life where for about 3 or 4 years, if I didn't bring someone new home with me every night from a bar, it would make me want to kill myself. Like, it was bad. Unfortunately, I do not have a count of my body count because I was just so heavily into sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Like, that was my lifestyle. All I did was party and fuck my life up all the time. I fucked so many good jobs out from under my feet for making horrible decisions. I hung out with the worst of the worst people. I was in a motorcycle gang when I was young. Luckily I got out of that, but I've made some horrible choices. I've made some terrible errors and mistakes in my life. I have hurt people. I have hurt myself. But at this point in my life, I'm doing everything that I can to make up for it. By being a better person, better human being in general. But I couldn't have done this by myself. My girlfriend, who Pretty Farm Girl is about, she changed me, man. She changed me for the better. When I met her, I was homeless, this close to suicide, and in the worst state of my addiction ever. And for some reason, she met me and saw something inside me that I couldn't see for myself.
Wow.
And after a few months of being together, she helped me get sober. And ever since then, I just try to be the best fucking person that I can. I will be the one to admit that I have done terrible things. Things cancelable things. When I was in a gang, when I was on drugs, I've done things that would make a common person go, what the fuck? But I've changed. And I'm still new to this. I'm still new to wanting to be alive. For the longest time, I didn't want to be alive. I did my best every day to do as much drugs as possible, hoping that I overdosed by the end of the night. And it just never happened. For some reason, my body was just able to take it. Most people would not have been able to take it. I don't know what the fuck. It's something from God, something from the universe, but for some reason, I'm still here.
Well, thank God, dude. I mean, that's such a tragic story, bro. Like, it sounds like a lot of it is self-inflicted, but also you had a lot of things working against you, man, like at the beginning. And like, it's really easy to, I honestly, man, it would be really easy for anybody to take the same path you did, you know? Mm-hmm. And I think like all we can do is make the best out of what it is that we have, the opportunities that we have, right? And the position that we're currently in. There's always going to be some musician that had an easier start, right? And we can go on and on about industry plants and people that had an easy journey, right? But I just go back to, what do I need to do today, you know, to make the next right choice? And like, it sounds like that's what you're doing now, you know, like making better choices, man.
I'm doing everything I can. And honestly, I mean, like it really took putting into perspective, because I was still like fucking up a bunch even after I got sober. But For a short time, me and my girlfriend were pregnant. We lost the baby, unfortunately, but it really put into perspective what I wanted out of life. Because when that baby was coming, I never worked harder in my entire life. I never changed myself. I've never been that human being before.
Dude, that's a wake up call. I've had similar experiences in my life, you know, thinking that I'm going to be a father, and more recently trying to start a family, you know, with Courtney. And the question that I have for myself, and maybe I'll pose to you, is like, when you were working hard because you knew you had a kid on the way, why don't we always work that hard, you know? And like
self-worth is not a thing.
Yeah, but like I always go back to what was I gonna say? Like we treat ourselves really poorly, you know, when it's just us. But when someone else needs us, like a child, like then it's like, oh man, now we have a reason to live, you know, and a reason, like give me a reason to do something. But my argument is that you already have a reason to live well, you know, and I think to live well, there's a lot of things that go along with that, you know, being responsible, showing up on time, not relying on substances to feel a type of way, not relying on like food to feel a certain thing, to feel full, and eating shitty food all the time. That's like something that I go back to. Like,
so that's something ever since I got off drugs, I have been struggling.
You replace it with something else, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I literally bought McDonald's the other day, which is like, for me, a big no-no right now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to completely cut fast food out. I bought McDonald's, and I bought a lot of it. Because I do that when I go to McDonald's. I buy enough to put myself into a food coma. I ate the fries. I ate one McChicken. I had multiple McChickens left over, plus fucking a 10-piece McNugget and all that shit. And dude, I ate that one thing, and then I put it back. I put it in the fridge. I was very ashamed of myself, and officially this morning, I grabbed it all and just threw it in the fucking trash.
That's kind of where it belongs, honestly.
Yeah.
McDonald's.
I've puked black after eating McDonald's before.
Jesus Christ, dude. That's awful. Like, I think the point I'm trying to make is treat yourself like a child, you know, in the sense of like there comes a time in your life where you need to be kind to yourself, and you need to almost treat yourself like the kid that you were, you know, at 8 years old that wasn't treated good. You need to treat that person well today, you know? And what that means for me personally is like not doing drugs, obviously, not eating food super late at night so that I have energy to like fucking sit there and play guitar for 8 hours or whatever, and work on the show. It also means not drinking, you know, like late at night, you know, or for me personally during the week, I'll have a couple drinks here and there, but generally speaking, like I will have some drinks on the weekend, you know, that's kind of my time to have a little bit of rest and relaxation. But even that, my wife and I were just learning that just alcohol is just not good, man. It's just not doing anything good for us other than having a brief momentary relief, you know, and but yeah, you need to treat yourself a lot better. And it sounds like a lot of what you've done in the past years is just torture yourself, bro. Like, and like you're not being fair to yourself. Right. And I would even say, if you want to do music at a higher level, you know, you need to do everything that you can to allow yourself to do that. And you might find yourself wanting to cut out a lot of stuff. But at the same time, I will say, like, the way our society is set up, the way, you know, people from other countries might say, you know, Americans have it so good, the quality of life is so good here, which it is. But I think generally speaking, for most people, even Americans, the quality of life is dog shit. You know, we have shitty roads. There's traffic all the time. We get up and we work 8, 10, 12 hours a day. Most people have to have more than one job try to get ahead, right? Unless you want to live in a tiny apartment for the rest of your life, you can probably keep working your 9 to 5 or your one job and making $50K a year. But if you want to get ahead of that, like, you have to get another job. So most people are just fucking suffering, and it makes me sad. And the coping mechanism for that is alcohol, right? It's the thing that's there that every American has to feel a little bit better while we're getting through this existence, right? Because it sucks. But if you can learn to rise above that and really deprogram yourself, and work against the systems that are in place to keep you down. I really do think that there's a lot of structural things that are in our way to keep people brain fogged and like, our food is fucking poison, most of it, right? Like, people don't have access to good food. But if you can find a way around that and live a better life, I think you'll do a lot better for yourself. That's just my thought on that. Treating yourself like a baby, like a child. And it's like, well, would I let my kid have 6 shots of Fireball, tonight on a Thursday night or a Tuesday night? No, you wouldn't. You would like find a way to wind down and go to bed, because tomorrow's another day that we got to fucking kick ass and write some more songs and go to work and do, like, that's my take on that, But damn, whiskey sure is good, man. Tasty stuff, dog. So, bro, anything else you want to add to what we talked about today? I know I've been talking a lot on this show, but what do you want people to know?
I'm doing everything that I can to be a better friend, a better boyfriend, a better son, a better brother, and a better musician. I have made so many mistakes in my life, but I'm doing everything I can to be a better person. And this music helps me. It helps me strive for something better. And it finally, other than the Aphonia stuff, because I really felt like we had a chance, this feels like something that could be profitable, that could be worthwhile. And for some reason, even though I probably comparatively have some of the worst self-hatred out of most people, I believe in myself.
Hell yeah, dude.
I really do think that I can do this. And in order to do that, I just got to keep on keeping on. And trust me, I can't just completely move on from the things that I've done and from the mistakes that I've made. They haunt me. They haunt my dreams. They haunt my thoughts every day. But I think, just like someone who goes to prison for a certain amount of time for a crime that they commit, when they're out, and they should be forgiven.
Amen.
And I've been in a prison most of my life. And I feel like I'm finally out of it.
Hell yeah. That's awesome, dude. That's great. Well, dude, I'm happy for you. I'm excited about the music that you're working on that will be out in the coming year. It's been really great hanging out and talking with you, man. Thank you for being just a real dude, and like you're just being honest, with who you are and what you're struggling with, man. And I appreciate that so much, and where can people follow you on social media?
Instagram is James_Cole IV. On Facebook, it's James Cole IV. On Spotify, James Cole IV. I am the fourth of my name, and for some reason I decided that was going to be my banner. So here we go. James Cole IV. Yeah. Pretty Farm Girl comes out on the 27th. of October this year, and then throughout next year I'll be releasing some singles, and then by the end of the year releasing the EP in full, and I will be doing a EP release show in Nashville for that. And I just really, really hope that, especially when it comes to like my old school fans that really like the heavy stuff that I did, I hope that they can like appreciate the new stuff that I'm doing that's no longer in that direction.
Yeah, dude, I'm sure they will. They'll dig it, man. Bro, thank you so much, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All
on,
right.
man.
Thanks for watching Shred Sessions. We'll see you in the next one.